we have to have stable, reliable fiber connectivity to home in the future, because the bandwidth demand is growing so fast, the service becomes so critical, and we all are depending on some sort of broadband services. So it's very important whether it is sustainable, whether it lasts for a long time and serve the purposes. And different countries actually take a different approach. Different communities take a different approach to deploy fiber. Every country have different geography, different type of population density, different type of economic situation. So it's natural that it will be different. And like in Australia, government taken a mandate to connect everyone to broadband, and it had a lot of hiccups, and eventually now shaping up in a way. In New Zealand, they mandated 2-3 companies. They are actually laying the fiber for rest of others. In Singapore, there is one trust. They are responsible for building fiber for everyone. So very unique kind of social model that one unique company, they are actually taking all the pain to deploy the fiber. It's a trust, so probably it's not profitable. It's not discussed yesterday though, but it seems like that, looking at the name. In Bangladesh, interestingly, that we are one of the early adopters of fibers. The reason behind that, we didn't have any good copper infrastructure in the early days. So we started deploying fiber from around 2003-04 kind of time. And at present, broadband means it's a fiber optic connectivity. It means it's a kind of PON network, GPON, EPON, or GPON, whatever it is. It's a PON connectivity in the houses. So, so it has become kind of, I should say, we're early adopter because we didn't have any copper. We tried to deploy copper, wired, and we burnt our finger and we given up. So it's not sustainable. Let's not do it. Go for fiber. And what happened that there is a lot of number of ISPs, many, and all with some small investment. So no one is capable of actually deploying fiber in a large area coverage. So at this moment, there is, I think, around 3,000 to 5,000 small ISPs throughout the country. So basically, a small ISP cater a small township kind of thing, maybe have 2,000, 5,000 to 10,000 customer maximum. And they build the infrastructure, fiber infrastructure there. They are probably connected with some larger ISP who actually is supporting them by providing authentication, accounting, and billing mechanism automation so that users can pay electronically, and also they can save lots of revenue. So if customer doesn't pay and leave to other ISPs, so that kind of protection they're getting because it's a prepaid model they're working. So that's why it's a different ecosystem actually built. So there's some few ISPs, they're actually just providing this automation services for billing and the service delivery, and few are actually, the smaller, they're actually providing last mile service and maintaining the fiber infrastructure at the last mile. And for the backbone transmission network, like connecting all the cities and townships with a high capacity link and reliable connectivity, the backbone is already there with a very reliable it's a DWM network connecting almost every township. So, and all the districts have multiple 100 gig lambdas that are provisioned there. So it can be upgraded to 200 gig, 400 gig, or even 800 gig in the near future because the technology supports that. So backbone-wise, actually, we're in a pretty good shape, I should say. So it is the last mile is our biggest challenge. So every small township have at least one underground fiber and at least one overhead fiber. Big cities have multiple underground fiber connecting. So, and the DWM transmission network built on top of it. On top of it, they're running IP/MPLS network. So anywhere you go in the country, if you ask for, you can get at least a 10 gig or 20 gig connectivity or 100 gig connectivity even in the big cities to with a very reliable and I should say very reasonable costing. So that's actually helping to grow the small ISPs into the small townships. In fact, my experience is that I have been to a remote places and I was struggling with my 4G network, and you can use Wi-Fi here. So I was kind of a bit reluctant that how it's going to work. I connected, it's very high speed and very nice. And I checked out how you are connected actually. I found a small WAN-T there and a Wi-Fi router there. So this is happening in the very remote places of the country. So I think internet infrastructure-wise is quite good, but challenge is that most of these fibers in the locality are overhead. So Bangladesh is a kind of prone to natural disasters. Rain, thunderstorms happen and in a kind of few months actually. So during those time, sometimes tree falls, electric pole falls, so it get interrupted. But they're very agile and fixing it. So people do not mind to have interruption maybe once in a month or once in a 2 months. So some of it's working well. And in the big cities, the changes you are seeing that where there's a density of users is huge, people have better ARPU. So on those areas, we're seeing the underground fiber to the home. So that is also coming up in the big cities. So those are getting actually permanent connectivity to a building, and so those have become very reliable nowadays. And I think it's a good transition, because in the remote area, it's not really commercially viable to deploy underground fiber at this moment, because the number of users is less, they have less paying capacity. So probably we'll have a transition from overhead fiber to underground fiber for the last mile, maybe in next few years, probably maybe next 10 years.